10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Does that mean we're live?
My gosh, Allie.
I love y'all. I've never done this before. It's awesome. Road Trippin is live on YouTube. Richard, why do you have an attitude?
I'm great. What are you talking about? I'm outstanding.
Outstanding.
I've never been better.
Oh, good. Well, I'm excited to be joined by at least 2/3 of you. Obviously, our friend Kendrick Perkins and my guy Channing Frye. Richard depends on the day.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, we're excited to be here. It's the start of the Eastern Conference Finals. And I'm actually just going to let y'all do your thing. This is our weekly edition of Road Trippin', so it will live on forever. So we're also going to not only dive into the Eastern Conference Finals, we're going to do live reactions a little bit earlier than this one specifically. I was covering the WNBA. Which is why this one's a little later. So we're going to do some reacts throughout the Eastern Conference Finals, but this episode is specifically also going to touch on the Western Conference Finals and do a little preview at the end. So before we dive into all of that, though, game one in Boston, thoughts, questions, comments, concerns. I have the tweet of the year that we're tabbing it that Channing put on our text chain from you, Kendrick Perkins. We start there with your tweet.
Your Ozempic tweet was hilarious.
Oh, my Ozempic. Yeah,
This dude's tweeting about Ozempic and drinking soda at the same time.
It's my cheat day, okay? It's my cheat day. I can have a soda.
For those of you that don't follow Perk, here it is. The Celtics offense, I feel like this may have came in the fourth quarter, makes me feel like when I take my Ozempic shot, nauseated. They make me sick. Now, granted, they won in overtime.
They did, but at that moment, it was horrible. A lot of one-on-one basketball, finding up three-point shots, wasn't getting great possessions. And it was, I had to express my emotions.
Can I say this? And we're all going to agree, a win is a win. That was not that game was lost by the Pacers more than Boston won that game. And I'm going to give you three reasons. One, Indiana, they can sustain that level of height and speed. That's how they play. Boston just happened to beat Indiana playing Indiana style. I'm still waiting to see what Boston's full-on style is and clamping up. You can't. They took 100 shots. Both teams took 100 shots in a playoff game. At some point, you gotta lower that down. Boston is by far the better team, but you couldn't tell because Boston would get a layup, then let Indiana get a layup. And I was like, who's gonna get a stop here? Do they just miss shots or do y'all get stops?
No, I when you watch it, it was very much just an offensive game, and that is a very dangerous game for the Boston Celtics to play, and they almost found that out. There were a couple of tough shots. And look, you give them credit. Yes, this was within the grasp of the Pacers. They made mistakes. Boston made plays. So you give Boston credit. They hit some tough shots. They deserve to win, whatever. But are they playing the type of basketball that you expect? They don't look like the dominant team that we've seen all season. And I guess that's the biggest issue. It's they're just giving up points and they're playing the style of game. Because they have a number one offense, because they have a top two offense, they're like, oh, we can outscore anyone. But their defense has to help their offense. And their defense tonight, they can be better. They can be better.
Well, I mean, look, everything's been coming easy for Boston, right? They played the Miami Heat, no Jimmy Butler, okay? So they knew they had their series. Then all of a sudden you go to the Cavs. The Cavs were dealing with injuries, especially when Donovan Mitchell went out. And then they're missing the most important piece to the puzzle for them to complete the mission. Kristaps Porzingis, right? We understand what he brings on the offensive side of things. Lob threat at the basket, a big that could stretch the floor, a big that could post up, especially when he have a mismatch. But defensively, right, he allows Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, Jrue Holiday, and Derek White to be aggressive on the perimeter, especially when you have a shot blocker back there that can alter shots. He's 7'3", Okay, 7-3. So he's able to alter shots and do what he do best. And so when you're missing that, all of a sudden I saw Indiana, they start searching for who? Al Horford. I mean, it was the right thing to do, right? So they're like, oh no, your old ass is gonna have to slide those puppies. You're gonna get up here and slide those puppies, and they kept searching them out. Again, this is why I don't have faith in the Boston Celtics to complete it all. This is why I got the Minnesota Timberwolves pick to win the NBA championship, because they're not consistent enough, especially when it comes down to if you make it a close game in the fourth quarter, you're going to beat the Celtics, right? I mean, the bonehead mistakes the Pacers made, Minnesota is not making those mistakes. If they happen to play Minnesota, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Dallas is not making those mistakes.
Do the Pacers recover from this?
Oh,
yes.
They feel so
with
confident.
that said,
Boston
do you
shot
have
30
confidence?
free throws.
Do you
Boston
have confidence?
Sorry,
What?
go ahead.
You're fine.
I'm saying Boston shot 30 free throws to Indiana's 10. So you say we lost in overtime and this team shot 20 more free throws than we did. Now, I think 6 of them came at the end of the game, whatever that was. But you're like, let's not play without fouling. Like, let's play faster. Because Jaylen Brown should have never spoke about how fast they were playing 2, 3, 4 times, because that's in his mind of like, damn, this team is really fast. And that made me feel uncomfortable at times. Now, if I'm Indiana, I say, man, let's go faster. They're going to play with us. Let's go faster. And to me, I just feel like Al played a great game. He was getting hunted out. He did the best job. He got that stop at the end. But I think they forgot about the games, like the beginning of the game. If they know that's going to work, he's going to have to do that for 4 quarters. Every time he's on the court, they're just going to go at him.
No, and really quickly, Chan, you talking about the 10 free throws? With 2 minutes and 38 seconds ago, Indy had 2 free throws to Boston's 17. Right? They had 2 free throws to Boston's 17. So it was all of their points were pure buckets. They were just bucket after bucket after bucket, right? And they were shooting 50% from the field in the first half. They were shooting 50% from 3 in the first half. And look, they turned the ball over, 21 turnovers. Like, if you're the Pacers, you can't win. You give credit to a team that had a top 3 defense in Boston, making late game plays. But ultimately, like you're saying, if you're the Pacers, there's a lot for you to feel like you can build off of and you can add up. You don't feel any.
You're not scared. You're not like, oh man, this is over. I literally wrote down notes. I think in the third quarter they missed 6 wide. I mean, butt naked open corner threes that you're like, when you watch on film, you're like, I can get those anytime. Like, all I got to do is make 3 and we win the game. We win by 10 if I make these. It's crazy.
Hey, Shannon, look, listen to me real quick. I know TNT, you know what I'm saying, cutting a nice check to you. And I know you're making some money on that wine. But you got to upgrade your Wi-Fi, dog. You know what I mean? You can't just be up here with that. You know what I'm saying? You got to upgrade your Wi-Fi. It's too many, it's pausing and shit going on. You got to upgrade it. Look, here's the thing, right? The Pacers are battle tested. They're battle tested. In this short stint, what they went through in the first round against the Bucks and the second round against the Knicks, we're seeing a team that is growing right before our very eyes. Right now, they're growing. They went from a team in the regular season, right, that was a finesse team, offensive firepower, one of the best offensive teams in the league, to a team that's not afraid to get it in the mud right now. Like, they're not afraid to get dirty. When you talk about Aaron Nesmith, when you talk about Nembhard, when you look at TJ McConnell, those guys they're getting nasty right now. Like, they're not afraid to get in the trenches. The Celtics had 5 or 6 days, maybe a week to watch the Pacers and prepare for them. The Pacers had 24 hours? Seriously, they had 24 hours. Rick Carlisle will make adjustments. The Pacers will be better, and they shouldn't lack confidence. I tweeted it. I was like, I wonder if they recover from this, and I believe that they will. They have a belief in that locker room. Whether we believe it or not, they believe. They
okay,
believe.
So to your point, Tyrese Haliburton talking about at the end of the day, and I think it comes from being battle tested through the first 2 rounds. If we won tonight, we weren't winning the series automatically anyways. We understand that there's still a lot of more work to do, and we'll respond the right way. I do want to get your guys' thoughts, though, down the stretch, because a lot of people have chimed in, including that of our guy, LeBron James, echoing how he feels about fouling down the stretch. What did you guys think of that situation?
He didn't have a chance. They didn't have a chance. They didn't have an opportunity. That, again, they should have switched. They should have. Okay, really quickly. What they should have done is they should have switched that off the drop, that back pass. That is there to create confusion. And if you mess it up, then you slip to the basket for a layup. That's fine. Switch, protect the 3. You got confused. Now Pascal Siakam is recovering out to him late. And now you don't, because as soon as he catches it, if you're not right there, that's a catch and shoot. He did everything he could to avoid fouling him because he knew he wasn't in a good position to foul. So to me, the entire situation is give up the 2-pointer, switch, try and take them both away. But what you're really preventing is the 3. You're okay with the 2. You play the free throw game. They don't have any free throws left.
Richard, I'm so proud of you, man. The growth, the growth that I've seen, the jump, the leap that you've taken since last year in your IQ. I mean, I taught you well, bro, because I saw the same thing. I just wanted to tell you that.
Yeah. I think sometimes Indiana gets so attached with like their matchup.
You okay, Perk, bro?
That Coca-Cola got him acting different now.
Yeah, he got him acting giddy over there. Oh, we're so proud of you. That's cool. Thanks, guys. Really, really appreciate that. It's not do this for a living.
Dude, I'm curious to see when like Boston is really gonna turn it on. Like that's what I'm curious about because they do it after they get beat. They like go, we're just gonna dominate you. But like, I want to see them just dominate a team. Like I thought Boston, they have the opportunity to sweep this team. I mean, they still do, but not if they play like they played this game. Like they could just impose their will on anyone, and they just go, "We're just gonna beat you the way you play."
Did you see how quickly you made Perk line up there?
Why?
Talking about his Celtics like that?
No, dude, they are. Obviously, regular season best team by far, and he makes a great point with Porzingis. But like, I'm waiting for them to just dominate a team.
They might not. That might not be. That might not be who they are. There might not be that who. And Perk remembers this when they won that championship in 2008. How many 7-game series did you guys play in? 3, 2 or 3?
Yeah, 2. The first 2 rounds.
That's what I'm saying. First round, second round, they played in 7-game series. They might not just be that dominant team. They might be a team that just has to be scrappy regardless of the amount of talent. So sooner or later, we have to accept them for who they are, not who we want them to be. This is who they are, and they've got to go prove that they can win a championship being who they are, a team that will give away a game, that'll have 1 or 2 games in a series where they look very beatable and almost confusing, but ultimately they always come out on the other end. So it's their job to prove that they can play like this and win a championship. But I don't know if they're going to just be a dominant team in the postseason like some of the dominant ones we've seen in the past.
But here's the thing, right? And I agree with you, Richard and Shannon. But my thing is you got to at least be dominant at home. Like the year that we won it in 2008, we lost the first 2 rounds. We lost every game on the road, right? We lost to the Hawks in game 2 and 4. Then we lost game 6 on the road. Same thing when we faced Cleveland. But at home, you know, like prepared to be like get stomped out. Like we was gonna smoke you at the crib. And I think people are too comfortable walking into the Garden and getting wins, right? And being too comfortable. Like the fans wasn't into it in the first half. Like they didn't get into it until late in the fourth quarter. Like you got to set that identity because again, you're not playing for the Eastern Conference Finals. You're playing to win it all, right? And if you happen to face who I think they're going to face, the Minnesota Timberwolves, you can't play with them like that.
No. It's a different beast.
No. You might be able to play with Dallas. You might be able to play with Dallas like that, but you can't play with Timberwolves like that.
I mean,
you don't play with wild animals like that.
No.
But can I say this real quick, Allie? Let me say this. Jrue Holiday is the reason that they won that game. And I think a lot of times I'm guilty of this. I don't acknowledge him enough for the one guy having that championship experience, right? Like being a champion. I thought he did an exceptional job, not just defensively, but offensively. What he had, like 27 points tonight?
28,
28.
3, 10 of 16, 4 of 8 from the three.
When he's aggressive, it's unstoppable.
Yeah, it was a mixture of 3-point shots. So I'm going to take you to the low block, turnarounds, jump hooks, however you want it. I'm gonna be the one that's going to be consistent because Jayson Tatum didn't have it going in the fourth quarter. Jaylen Brown and Jrue Holiday, the reason that, he got an opportunity to even do what he did in overtime.
Yeah, no. To your point, though, that's the hardest thing about Jayson Tatum. We were everybody's on text chains talking, chopping it up, and you're just when it looked like 5 points away. So most playoff.
Wow.
Oh, I don't first 7 years of career. I don't give me career. Right? That's fine. My thing is more of Jayson Tatum is the guy. Jayson Tatum is the player that can have 36, 12, 4, and 3, and you're like, man, he didn't really have that good of a game. And it's because when you score,
why though?
Because we have expectations for him to be dominant, for it to be, but that's just him. But look, he has a supporting cast. And again, there was no defense played in this game. Very, very little. There was defensive plays, but not actual defense. 9 minutes to go in the second half, or 9 minutes to go in the second half, or there's 9 minutes left in the third quarter, and they had all 5 starters in double figures for Boston. All 5 starters were in double figures, and there was 9 minutes to go in the third quarter.
That's a problem for Indiana.
That just means everybody was cooking. Everybody was cooking, getting everything that they wanted. But to me, that favors if you're just going to, hey, we're going to try and outscore. I like the Pacers' chances far better, right? If that's the way you're going to play. But I think it lacked defense from the Boston Celtics, and you could score all the points, and everybody was scoring the ball well. But it was 6 players for Boston had 8 or more points at halftime.
How many players for the Pacers were in double figures?
For the Pacers,
their bench also
7 players were in double figures.
Their bench also dominated.
Yeah, it was. Toppin had 15. TJ McConnell had 13. But it was more of the fact
Shepard had good minutes. I know he didn't score, but he had good minutes out there. I felt like Shepard.
Oh yeah. Everyone that played did something. It felt like that was the type of offensive game that was going on.
Perk, what's your take on Jayson Tatum?
I want more.
You called him this morning. You called him the sun, or today on NBA Today. You don't want him to be the star. You want him to be the sun.
And my dumb ass didn't realize that the sun is a star, right?
That's that Mississippi.
But seriously though, you want that separation. Right, we want that separation out of Jayson Tatum because it's like, bro, you're talking about submitting yourself with all-time greats when it comes down to this franchise. Like, and in order to be in that room or sitting at that table, you got to accomplish the mission. Like RJ just talked about, what he had 36, 12, like
36, 12.
But it felt like
but
to be honest with you, he should have had 50. Like that's the real of it. He should have had 50. Like he should have had 50.
Quarter.
Huh?
Oh.
It was that fourth quarter, 4 points.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, and I wouldn't be so hard on Jayson Tatum, but Jayson Tatum, the one that asked for this. He was the one that was talking about he couldn't wait for this moment, and at all times he feel like he's the best player on the floor. Okay, that's cool. We all know you're elite talent, especially offensively. But you have to do that. And to be honest with you, I get it. He has the pieces, a lot of pieces around him, but he still really haven't had that like standout moment where it's like, okay, it's Jayson Tatum and then it's everybody else. It's like we've been talking about everybody else around the league, and then, let's not forget about Jayson Tatum. Like, no, when we think about the NBA, we should be thinking about Tatum.
I think sometimes it's just what we're attracted to seeing at the end of games, right? Like your main guy going and making a play happen. And it just so happened that this game, Jayson Tatum had great 3 quarters. In that last 5 minutes, 4 minutes, he took a bad step back 3. He missed a wide open bunny. I think he had a turnover.
Oh, the bunny he missed. The bunny he missed.
Was, it's just, we're like, damn, why are you not north and south more? When he drives to the rack, he's a whole different player. And even Doris mentioned he settles for that 3. I know he only took 8 today, but like he settles for that 3 a lot. When we're like, dog, you're unstoppable. I think that's what it is. Remember what I don't want to say we hated. We were very distasteful of James Harden, and he'd have 40 and 16 and 12. But we're like, man, he probably could have 50 or 60. You know, it's the way it looks, which is unfair, but he is so good. We're just like we believe that he's that good. And like you say, he should have 50. That's just how we feel about him. I mean, that's rare air for media people and us who played to go, dude, you should get 50 every night. There's no one on. You got
Jayson Tatum played a great game.
Yeah.
He played it. Now, hear me out. The last 4 minutes of overtime, he didn't or that last 4 minutes of regulation, he didn't play great. Guys made shots, made stops. They put him in a position, and then he was great in the overtime. So it's like collectively over the game, we could be critical of that 5-minute stretch where it looked like the game should have been over.
Right.
But guys made plays. Jayson Tatum was like, all right, guys, I got you from here. Overtime, this is my game. 8 points in the overtime. So we're going to be – it's weird because it's like we're going to sit here and be critical of that 5-minute stretch, and rightfully so. Yeah. Right, because you can't depend on those shots to win games. But when you look at Jayson Tatum's full game, from start of the game to end of the game, he was the best player on the floor. He dominated in key moments. There was just a 5-minute stretch in which he went quiet that almost cost them the game. And then once they dodged that bullet, they were fine. So Jayson Tatum, to me, great game, best player on the floor, best player in the series.
But you know what? You know why we so harsh? Because Shannon, how many Hall of Famers you played with?
Oh,
like just name a few.
Steve Nash, Grant Hill, LeBron, probably Kyrie. I think Kevin Love.
RJ, right? you had Braun, Kyrie, J Kidd. I had
Vince
Paul,
Carter, Dikembe.
Yeah, I mean, I was a groupie. I had like 14.
Tim Duncan.
I was a groupie. I had like 14 of them. But the reason that we're so hard on Jayson Tatum about the fourth quarter and being like, because we seen it. Like we was on the court watching guys take over 4 quarters, like all the time when it matters the most. Like, oh nah, he ain't just do that. Yeah, he did. He just ran off 16 straight. Right. Like I was in the Western Conference Finals watching Kevin Durant take over a game 6 where I think he had like 24 points in the 4th quarter or some crazy shit. So like that's the expectations, and it's good though. If you're Tatum, you should embrace that, man. Like you should embrace that.
Yeah.
Where does the credit for Jaylen Brown fall in all of this?
Wow, he don't get no love.
No love.
I'm telling you, the Celtics currently, as a franchise, are in the LeBron pre-championship in Miami era. No. Hear me out. No matter how great you are in the regular season, no matter if you win an MVPs, the amount of hate that Bron got until he won that championship, especially when he joined the Heat, the amount of hate that they got when they lost to Dallas, even though Dallas took out Kobe Bryant and the 2-time defending Lakers, even though Dallas took out that Laker team and swept them, people are like, well, I can't believe Bron is trash because he lost to Dallas and this team. My point is, until Bron won that championship, it was just full-time hate. It was like, we know you're great. We know you're this. We don't give a damn. You've been to the finals twice. Until you win a championship, we truly don't care. And then they went back to back. And right now, the Boston Celtics are in that space. It's unfair or not. Their fan base, the NBA fan base, the media, we don't care. You got to win a championship, and they're going to hate on you until you do. You've been too good for too long.
What they got to do with Jaylen Brown?
I'm talking about their entire group isn't getting any love. Their entire group is going to get love.
Derek White gets love. He gets a lot of love.
Derek White do get love. The reason that Jayson Tatum is the Ferrari in the garage with the shiny rim.
Ferrari?
Shut up. You heard what I said, Shannon. Shut up.
Ferrari.
And look.
Flurry.
Guy Fieri.
He's thinking of
He said a McFlurry. He said a McFlurry.
Whatever.
He said Guy Fieri.
Hey, look. Jaylen Brown is the F-350. He's going to carry the load, right? He may not have the rims, but he's going to do everything and more and continue to put up numbers and just fly up under the radar, but he gets the job done. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. We don't see Jaylen Brown. We don't see Jaylen Brown on the commercials.
What? Right. No way. Hey, somebody. What?
Put the last one up.
Wait, somebody. Why does Richard? Why does it? I'll explain. I got two questions. Why does Richardson put on a weird announcer voice and cadence when commenting games compared to Nets games? And why is Channing Frye not commentate more games on TNT? Okay, so to answer my question, when you're talking in game, there's a different cadence that you have to speak in. Oh, yeah. Right? There is a different speak. Hey, Perk, I think Perk, you did a game. Me and Perk did a game together. Channing, Allie, you called games for the Lakers. When you have to talk in that like game calling cadence, it is a completely different. It's a different way of talking. It's a different way of everything. No,
he says he said that he or she, I don't know who this person is, said that you do it differently when you do your ESPN games versus that of your Nets games.
Yeah. That makes sense because Nets is more of a hey, this is like when you're working on your set and you're just kind of going through let me work on this, let me work on that, and then you get to ESPN and you're like, hey, this works, this doesn't. Plus, I have a little bit more liberty when I'm with the Nets. Yeah, I have a little more space.
You could be the hood, Richard, when you with the Nets, and then you got to be the Disney version when you with ESPN. That's just what it is.
I really enjoy my job working for Disney.
I like McFlurry too, Fred. I like McFlurry too. Channing, why don't you call more games on TNT?
Because I don't talk in that cadence. I don't have an off button. So I'm in there like, damn, put it on his head. And they're like, you're not allowed to say that. I'm like, oh, what a great dunk, Bob. I can't. That ain't me. I'm like, yo, get him out the game. He don't want to play. Get him out the game. I'm more of a studio guy, like in studio here and at home.
2015.
Close. That's Wawa 9:30 2010. Yes.
Y'all really pioneers of this, though.
Yeah, make sure you tell. Yeah, we read the comments. Edward Timble. Like, yes, thank you. Click and subscribe.
Somebody said I talk like Terrence Howard. That's hilarious.
What is it?
Somebody said I look like I talk like Terrence Howard.
You got a hairline like Terrence Howard right now.
What? Do I need to get a haircut?
That's disrespectful to the culture. That's disrespectful to the culture right there.
No, it's not. Let the curls go. Don't put that colonizer beauty on me.
All right, Allie. Get us back, Allie.
I just said, did I cut out? Yeah, did I stutter?
No, what did you say?
I said, Perk, you were going to talk about Jaylen Brown.
Oh, yeah.
When Richard took it about the whole team.
I was just saying he gets the job done, right? An all NBA player every single season. We don't see him on a lot of commercials, right? Jayson Tatum is going to get all the praise. But Jaylen Brown, quietly, since the All-Star break, has been the best player on the Boston Celtics, right? I mean, like, let's keep it real. He's quietly been the best player. I mean, like, no one could say that he's overpaid when it comes down to the $300 million. I think he's been balling, doing his part, and he comes up clutch. I mean, hell, he the one that hit the shot to send it into overtime. I mean, because if you go and look, and I hate going and look at numbers and all that old crazy shit, but the facts are the facts. When it comes down to players that qualify, right, for like go-ahead buckets, game winners or tying the game up, Jayson Tatum is at the bottom.
Yeah. Somebody asked, would Jaylen be an all NBA as a number one option? There we go.
How are
That's
you
a
seeing?
great question. You just go to comments on the side. See, it says private chat. You just click on comments.
I mean, that's like asking, can he average 30 in today's game if he was on the Detroit Pistons? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we take for granted what he does because everyone's like, oh, look at Derek White. Look at all that wouldn't work correctly if he wasn't committed to just doing everything at a high level. Look who he guards at the beginning of the game. Look what plays they run at the end of quarters. When Jayson Tatum goes out, they run that second system mostly through him and Peyton Pritchard, right? And then when he goes out, then they run it through Tatum again, meaning he can sustain your offense for 6 to 12 good minutes by getting downhill. He is more aggressive. He did give him the double bang. He is the most aggressive going and putting 2 feet in the paint of anyone on that team, more than Tatum, more than White, more than Drew Holiday, which establishes who they are offensively. They would just pass and shoot for threes. He's like, no, I'm going to get to this mid-range. I'm going to get to the rack and create something for other people.
Did I see that that double bang was just the 7th Mike Breen has given out in his career?
That was a big bang.
That was a big bang.
That was a double bang.
But that was, and look,
I do not need my mind to go there.
they just started.
I have a question. When it comes to the Celtics and winning it all, Perk, and you mentioned that especially if they make it to the finals, if they're the ones to advance, they've been in the Eastern Conference Finals 6 times in the last 8 years. Okay. Mm-hmm. You have the Minnesota Timberwolves. Speaking of number stats, I don't know what it is, but I heard Kat say in his post game the other night, we hadn't won in 20 years or whatever. It's been a while, right? You still on that stage say Kristaps Porzingis, which I heard today, like momentum is that he could possibly return game 4 of this current series. You wouldn't have confidence that they could get the job done?
No.
That doesn't have experience on that. Really?
No, but because one, I don't know how Kristaps Porzingis is going to look. He's been out for a while now, right? So, and I understand.
Y'all are 6-1 now without him.
Huh?
And y'all are 6-1 now. Not y'all, but Celtics are 6-1 without him.
But this is what I'm saying. The Minnesota Timberwolves, they don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. They don't know any better. They don't even understand the moment, in my opinion. They just go out there and hoop and compete at a high level. They play physical, and they're not going to change. It was one thing to watch game 1 and 2 against the Denver Nuggets, but it was another thing to witness what we saw in game 7. Anthony Edwards, he goes 6 for 24 from the field. Okay, cool. You struggling. But the fact is that they hung their hats on the defensive side of things, which is their identity, right? And I've never seen a team walk into Denver and wear Denver down in Denver with that altitude. As the game went on, they got stronger defensively. Like, it seemed like the Minnesota Timberwolves, like, that was their home court. And we know how tough it is to play in that altitude. You damn near can't breathe. Be down 20 points on the road in the game 7. Jaden McDaniels hitting corner threes. Karl-Anthony Towns. I mean, looking like he's real comfortable right now and confident. I just don't see anybody like matching that intensity. And Anthony Edwards just got an old soul. And I always I hate to like bring up anybody past, but when it comes down to Anthony Edwards, everybody really should go look at like his upbringing. This shit that he going through right now, through these series, this ain't no adversity to him.
I have got to turn off those comments because someone just said Jang looks like he's in the principal's office.
What night you in?
My office.
We're in a back store. Yeah, storage.
It look
room
like a pantry or something.
No.
It's crazy.
It's this thing.
What is?
We're
What's in
moving,
there?
so there's a lot of stuff in there.
Oh, you didn't have to show us, Channing. We didn't have to show us.
You're not going to believe me. I think the Mavs win this series.
What?
I think the Mavs win the series. And I say this. Here's why. I don't think like that works for Jamal Murray, and I think it works for Devin Booker. But I think Luka and Kyrie are not. Kyrie is not Jamal Murray, and Luka is not Booker or KD. They are a different team. And I think PJ Washington, after showing what he can do, I think the matchup, it's a very even matchup. But I say those nights where Anthony Edwards can't shoot is 6 for 24.
He only had one.
He's stopping Luka.
He only had one of them.
I'm just saying. Who's stopping Luka?
Really quickly, Channing, really quickly.
Yes.
I hear you, and Channing's correct. But I think both of you are correct. It is a very close series.
Yeah, it's a super close.
We're going to play it very, very close. It's just judgment. Whose bigs are better? Dallas's bigs or Minnesota's bigs?
You're not going to like my answer. I think they even each other out.
So you're going to say Naz Reid, the sixth man of the year,
the
All NBA, and the defensive play, the All NBA scorer in Karl-Anthony Towns, and the defensive player of the year. I'll give the slight edge to them over Gafford and
we're talking the playoff series.
I know. I'm just
can guard Cat.
Yes, PJ can guard Cat. Okay. Yes, PJ can guard Cat. He's actually one of the guys that's built for it.
Gafford and Lively can guard Gobert. Naz Reid is the X factor to me. Naz Reid is the X factor.
So you would say that. So you would say Minnesota has better bigs.
Yeah.
Okay. Now stay with me here. Stay with me here. The three-headed defensive monster of Jaden McDaniels, of Anthony Edwards, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. The three of them defensively, rotating and taking turns. My thing is this. Yes, Luka was special. Luka's always going to be Luka. But defensively, Lou Dort was a problem. And they got three Lou Dorts, in my opinion, on the Minnesota side with more offensive capability. I think Lou Dort and Nickeil Alexander-Walker are probably the same offensively, in my opinion. The other boys, problems. So I'm just saying it's like they've guarded KD. They put Jamal Murray in a blender. They guarded Booker. They guarded Bradley Beal. Luka's the best one that they have played, but I still think that they'll do as good of a job as anyone in the league against Luka. They'll do as good of a job unless Luka's different, and he's not 100%. That's just my opinion.
Who's the best player in the series?
Luka.
Who's two?
Oh, Edwards.
What?
Who was the best player? Who was the best player in the last series? Perk. Who was the best player in OKC versus Dallas? Who was the best player in the series?
SGA.
Facts.
Who is the best player in this series? Perk.
Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards.
God, y'all just
like. What do you think?
Look, Frye, listen to me.
Anthony Edwards is playing with amazing players. He is amazing, playing with amazing players.
Don't make it. Don't do that.
You're making excuses. I'm making an argument.
He's playing with amazing players.
He's playing with all second team NBA player, first team NBA player. He's playing with an all-star. Luka has to do more for his team to win. He's the better player. Luka was in the MVP conversation.
So was Anthony Edwards.
He wasn't even on the ballot. Jalen Brunson had a better regular season than he did.
I had a vote. He was on the ballot.
They need to revoke.
He was on the ballot. We just overlooked him because he wasn't averaging 30 because he didn't have to. He didn't have to average 30.
He had a great year. He wasn't an all-star, Perk. He wasn't an all-star yet.
Who?
Anthony Edwards was not a top 5 player this year. He was not a top 5 player this year.
What does that have to? They don't have anything. And see,
we're talking about who's the best player in the series.
Look, do you have a vote?
No, I let it go.
Good, you don't need one because if you go about it, if that's how you go about it, saying this is how I'm about to vote for MVPs. You don't need one. Look, let me explain something to you.
What?
Let me explain something to you. But because you can't just say the top 5 players are the most valuable players. That's not the case. Braun is still a top
5 player.
Hold on, time out. So Braun is still not a top 5 player in the league?
This year, Braun's not a top 5 player. He's not a top 5 player this year. That's not weird. Is he maybe 5 to 10? Absolutely. Top 5, Perk?
5 to 10 is still
6 to 10.
Top 5.
Come on, Perk. He was not. He will tell you he's not. He would not tell us that. He'd whisper in your ear and then kill you.
He would not tell us that he's not a top 5 player. You know that. He would not tell us that. That's number one. Look, here's the thing about Anthony Edwards. We talking about who's going to stop Luka, who's going to stop Kyrie. They actually got 2 guys that really could stop those guys. 2 all defensive players, right? And Anthony Edwards and McDaniels. Who is guarding Anthony Edwards? Because you don't have an Aaron Gordon over there.
You got Lou Dort.
Caldwell Pope tried. God bless his heart. It didn't turn out too good for him. He tried, and I like KCP. But you don't have a 6'9", 6'10", 250-pound frame to match up with Anthony Edwards. Because remember, he could take you off the dribble.
Anthony Edwards is not 6'9".
No, he's saying you don't have that to guard him. You need that to guard him.
Are you okay? You all right?
I know. Your accent.
I'm talking about Aaron Gordon,
your
bro.
accent.
Listen, this is what I'm saying. Who is going to stop Anthony Edwards?
You got to do it as a team. They've been doing it as a team. You got to put Derek. Your only option is Derek Jones Jr.
You'll put Derek Jones. Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
So you got.
I think.
Hold
on, real quick. And I don't want to like downplay what the Mavs what they have done thus far, but I will say this. They've had the easier path. They played the Clippers without Kawhi Leonard, and we all know what James Harden and PG go do in the playoff series. They go fold like clean sheets, and they did that. They had their one shining moment, then all of a sudden they disappeared. Both of them did. Okay. And then you look at Oklahoma City. What's the one knock that everybody had on Oklahoma City this entire season that Sam Presti didn't address at the trade deadline when he went and got Gordon Hayward? They didn't have size. They needed size. There was too much to be putting on Chet. So they put all that pressure on him, and Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively just took turns, game after game, having, they playoff moments. They're not going to do that against the Timberwolves.
Really quick. No, what I was going to say is really quickly.
Stop him. We didn't stop SGA either, and SGA is more consistent than Ant.
Yeah. Well, okay, and also, okay, so Channing, so let's look at the defensive matchups. You like Derek Jones Jr. versus Anthony Edwards more than you like SGA, Jaden McDaniels, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker guarding Luka and Kyrie.
You mean Ant?
Ant guarding Luka and Kyrie. I see defenders versus offensive players, elite defenders.
Totally. That's a bad matchup. But I feel like Luka's matchup versus those smaller guards is not as it's not like, they're just gonna lock him up. I feel like Luka can go 1-to-1, and then who's guarding Kyrie?
What smaller guards, Shannon?
Jaden McDaniels is not as tall as Luka.
What? Are you okay?
Jaden McDaniels is 6'7".
How tall is Jaden McDaniels, Shannon?
Hey Siri, how tall is Jaden McDaniels?
Jaden McDaniels is.
Okay,
he what?
I thought he was 6'7".
Oh no, he's big, bro. He's huge, bro. Like Jay
He-
Daniels,
Oh,
he
it's
walks around with
That's
that
more
hoodie.
impressive.
He's
And
got
you
that
know
hoodie
that's
on. He
more
wears
impressive.
his hoodie like KD. He wears his hoodie
Yeah.
like KD. That dude looks. He looks even taller when he's doing that.
Yeah.
And you know what else we got to realize? Jamal Murray. My wife just texted me and told me to get off Shannon back. I'm like, stay out of this.
Listen,
Stay out of this.
You
Stay
can't
out
be
of
on my
Yeah,
back.
break-
Hey,
we don't
Shannon,
want
tell
guys
her-
strong
breaking
legs
back.
like that.
Hey, she said I keep going at you. Tell her we cool, man.
Stop
We
it, man. You know I don't give a shit.
She on here watching, man. She needed.
I agree with
Matter
her.
of fact, what time is it? Look, tell me if I'm right, if I'm wrong. Let me ask y'all a question. Jamal Murray, every single season, he go from a borderline all-star caliber player in a regular season to damn near, well, an all-NBA player to almost an MVP caliber player in the postseason. We didn't see that in the second round. We didn't see that against the Timberwolves. He only scored over 20 one time in that series, and that was in Game 7. And he had 24 in the first half, 10 in the second half. That's how dangerous Anthony Edwards is defensively, bro.
So how much
I'm not
do
saying
you think? I'm just gonna ask, how much do you think Luka is gonna average in this series?
but look, it's just like Jaylen Brunson, and I love Jaylen Brunson. If you're gonna take 30 plus shots, you should be able to average 33. Is
Right.
it gonna be efficient though?
Yeah, we'll
What
see.
is y'all's prediction for the Western Conference Finals?
I think Dallas in 7.
What?
I'm not crazy. No, he just wants to argue. What a dick. What a dick.
Perk, why you look so grumpy, bro? Why are you doing that with your face? Look at that. Ew.
Whatever. I got Minnesota in 6.
Minnesota in 6. Channing? Wolves in 5.
I don't know why.
Someone
And you
said
make great
Channing looks like
points.
the little brother from Last Dragon.
The little
Bruce
older
Leroy's
brother
little
is
brother. Oh, that's
That's
great.
funny.
Matt?
What the heck is a Wookvies?
Wolves, Mac Mon.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, we're about to wrap this up.
Hey, man.
Wrap this up in a
When's
second.
my bedtime?
However, I can tell, Rich, you've been very quiet and your eyes are just slowly fading. Having said that, can we do this without you two debating really hard at each other, Channing and Perk? Since
No,
you brought it up, can you give me your top 5 best players in the league today?
this year,
Yeah. And then we'll end on this.
in no order. Here's who I thought played the best this year. No order. SGA. If I had a vote, I would have voted him or MVP. Then Jokic, Luka. I had Tatum and Brunson. Those are the 5 best players I thought played this year.
Did Giannis
Those are my-
die?
I ain't seen him.
Giannis? Are you tripping?
I haven't seen Giannis since that.
Come on,
50
man.
piece.
God,
I
mean,
ain't seen
take the vote.
Giannis
Take
since
the
that
vote.
50
Steal
piece,
the
bro.
vote.
But he got
Steal the
hurt.
vote.
The man had,
Giannis-
come on now. Come on
The
now.
most
The man had 30
underwhelming
and 20.
team in the NBA. The most
Huh?
underwhelming team in the NBA. You
Okay,
have him above
Channing,
who?
hang on, Channing. That's your 5. Perk, what are your 5?
So,
Obviously, Giannis is a part of it.
so look, I got Jokic.
Okay.
Jokic is number 1. I got SGA number 2. Let me think for a second. Luka is gonna be number 5. Okay, Luka is number 5. So I got Anthony Edwards number 4. And I got Braun. You notice I didn't name anybody out of the Eastern Conference. You know why?
I'm not.
You know why? Let me tell
Why?
you why. Because when you're playing the Toronto Raptors, if you're in the East, that's 4 wins, and you're gonna have probably 30 plus. Okay. When you're playing the Washington Wizards, it's gonna be the same thing. You're gonna have a historical night. You're gonna have a historical night. The Pistons. That's 12 games.
Is that a half because of the finger?
Shut up. Shut up. Look, those are my top 5. All of them are in the Western Conference.
Okay.
And here's why: because if you take Braun, if you take the Lakers in the bottom half, what was that, like the 7, 8, 9th, and 10th seed, and you put those teams in the East with the record that they have, they all would be what? Fighting for the number 2 spot?
Yeah. The Eastern Conference was better, but I think more important,
the West was better.
The West.
No, yeah, like I said, the East was better. The East was better.
You all right, RJ? You sleep?
He is not here.
No, first of all, I am really focused on Terrence Howard's kind of new. No, I'm very, very curious about your guys' thoughts on this. Go ahead, JJ. I got you. I'm sorry if I was on this before.
Periodic.
I think Terrence Howard is a very unique individual. I think when you talk about colors and sounds and how like that, it was a deep, deep conversation. I think that's not this podcast. If you want nerdy basketball, go to Old Man in the 3. That's where they do those types of conversations. There's a guy there named by JJ Redick who went to Duke. So he's the one that's going to be able to answer that. I don't know who's in this comment section acting like him. But yeah, that's where you're going to be able to find that information.
I wonder how JJ felt about my comments about him.
Oh, first of all, let me tell you. I can tell you. He goes
pissed.
Oh,
wait, what comments are we talking about?
Because I was like, it was like, who's the best? You know, what's the best candidate for the Lakers job? And I was like, JJ Redick. I think JJ, he knows his shit. I didn't say that on air, but this is how I wanted to say it. He knows his shit, but he just got to lose that snobby ass Duke attitude.
Never.
JJ hits me up. I was like, bro, you would let Perk talk shit, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, first of all, if there's ever Duke slander, JJ, I can't step in between that. That will just, I like, if people are talking shit about Duke, I fully support it. As far as his basketball IQ, there is no deny about that. I think he's fine. But yeah, if I was like, look, if Perk's gonna slander Duke, I have to support that. That's part of my DNA. But yeah,
I do think he should get the job, but he has to lose that attitude.
What does that even mean?
He's just throwing shots. He's just throwing shots. He's just throwing shots.
Wait, is that the JJ Redick?
Yep.
Of course.
It sounds funny.
It looks familiar.
I love you like your pretend cousin.
Look, but let me tell you something about JJ. JJ pretends like he's not on social media or he's not watching. He's always watching. He just don't never tweet or say nothing on Instagram, but his ass is always watching. He's always watching. He knows too damn much.
Richard?
I've got nothing to say. I've never liked the guy.
Wow.
This is purely a business relationship.
How the hell we ever got you to not say anything?
Hey, Richard, real quick, can you follow me back on social media?
Like TikTok? I follow you on TikTok.
No, I'm just saying, how you don't follow me on social media, bro? And like, you that type of bullshit friend that like, oh yeah, like, we cool in private, but in public, I need the world to know that like I don't mess with you.
Yeah, that's the way
I am. Are you still selling puppies?
Yeah. Also, I only follow 69 people on Instagram. It's hard to make.
How many?
69.
You guys, I cannot. You're all grown ass men that just think that.
I'm just saying that's how many people I follow. It's not. I'm just telling people. I mean, that's how many people.
I'm gonna listen to your lurking perk. I see everything. That's.
Really I know.
That's why he's perking in our live.
Perking.
He's stealing our concept. He's stealing our content, just like he stole our idea.
No comment. I will say I'm going to listen to your wife, Perk, and I'm going to wrap this up so that you can go to bed. Rich and Channing. Perk, if you want, all series long, we are going to be doing these reactions to the Eastern Conference.
As long as y'all invite me, I'm always going to come.
Oh, let's go. Let's get Perk
They will
alert
be
in the
earlier.
building.
They will be more so right after the game. From here on out. I just had a conflict tonight. So
Richard, don't give me no damn nickname, Perk Alert. Like, don't do that.
No. That's Channing's nickname for you. That's
Like
Channing.
Perky lurking?
hold on to this. Channing and Perk. Channing and Perk. GJT just said everyone needs an RJ in their life. Do you agree?
No, RJ's like a bunion. You just ate.
He like a what?
A bunion. You just don't want to go to the hospital and get it removed. You're just like, damn.
So disgusting. We're gonna wrap this up. All right. Good night.
All right. Go to bed.
All right. Go to bed, guys. Love ya.